you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Today, we have another super episode for you guys. We have photographer and artist, the one and only Sharik Cervantes. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm really excited to get everything started. But before we do, for the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Sharik Cervantes. I was born and raised here in Oklahoma City on the south side, represent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been in photography pretty much my whole life, like doing disposable cameras as a kid and then just kind of slowly getting into a phone and then just doing digital photography from there. Yeah, I'm just kind of an artist that likes to delve into every single part of creativity for sure.
That's awesome. We were talking a little bit off camera about your name being so unique and cool.
Yeah.
Do you know sort of the meaning behind it or anything like that? Is there a cool story to it?
So my parents just kind of didn't really know what to name me really. They looked in a book and they saw Sharik and it meant like child of God or God's light. And they're like, we like that. We're going to go with it. Yeah.
I've never met another Sharik.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's a good and a bad thing though, because people are like Sharik and it's like they already know who they're talking about. There's no clarification.
It's like Madonna. Like you just go by Sharik and everybody knows.
When I went to go get a press pass once, I was like, they're like, what's your name? And I was like, Sharik. And they're like, just Sharik? Like Beyonce? You only have one name?
Awesome.
I was like, yeah.
That's cool. I like that. I think a lot of people probably think that it's just like your artist name maybe too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no.
They're probably like, okay, Sharik, but what's your real name,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So my understanding is that you not wanting a quinceañera is kind of what got started your career, right?
For sure.
Tell me about that.
My parents, they were like, you're going to have a quinceañera and we're going to do this and that. And I kind of didn't vibe with any of it, like dresses and like all the attention on me. It was kind of weird. I was like, no, let's make it cheaper and just give me a digital camera. And they were like, all right, we'll do a dinner because we still want to celebrate you, but we'll give you a digital camera. Awesome. We went to the pawn store and got one. And that was it.
Do you remember what that first camera was?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like a Nikon. I don't remember the exact make or anything, but it's just some Nikon camera. Yeah.
Cool. Why photography? Out of all the things, why photography?
That's like one of the things that like I've noticed, like even now, like I take a photo of something and I'll come back a year later and it's completely different. It'll be like gone or just like changed completely. Yeah. And I really love to freeze time basically. And the act of like photography is like magic in itself. Like how do you capture something and keep it forever, you know?
Right.
It's pretty cool for myself.
Yeah, I think like back in the day, people thought that a photographer was like taking your soul.
Exactly.
Like people were afraid to take pictures, right? Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, nowadays it's probably not as custom to carry around a camera. People just use their phones.
Exactly,
but I think using a legit camera and saving those memories is super important.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. Like for film especially, that in itself is like extremely cool, the whole process and like slowing down.
Yeah.
It's like something that I delve into, especially in photography.
Cool. So you got that camera, and what did you start doing with the camera once you got it as a gift?
I kind of just took it everywhere with me, and it was like a big, bulky camera
really?
too. Yeah, it's like it was like
nice. A film camera or digital?
It was just a digital camera.
Digital camera.
It was good because as a kid, like you're kind of just shooting everything, and with digital, you can just blow it up if you want to. In film, it's so expensive, like 32 shots, 28 shots.
You got to think about everyone,
really think
right?
About
yeah. Cool. So you just took pictures of your friends and stuff?
Yeah, I'd take it to school. I'd take pictures of my friends. We'd go to the mall and I'd take pictures of like random stuff out there, water bottles and stuff, trying to be all aesthetic.
Yeah, cool. Did you sort of like find out what you enjoyed taking pictures of that way? Like, do you enjoy portraits or street photography? Like, what do you enjoy?
So I think for sure, like it kind of depends. I get like in these moods sometimes. I'll be like, I really want to shoot portraits, and it's mostly like when I have control of it. Like if I'm like, these are the colors I want to see, this is the model I want to see, and just kind of like the setting. I think when it's paid portraits, I'm like, I'll do it because like I appreciate you appreciating my work, but it's not like my favorite.
Yeah,
definitely street photography and concert photography, just in the moment type of photo shoots are cool.
Okay, cool. What was school like for you? Were you a popular kid? Like what was school like?
I think I was kind of like everywhere. I didn't really join any like clubs or after school activities, but I was kind of like just everywhere, like talking to everyone. I kind of just really liked talking to everyone and knowing everyone's story for the most part.
Cool.
Yeah, so I was kind of just floating along in high school.
Yeah. Did you want to go to college or anything like that? Like, what did you want to do?
Yeah.
What did you do after high school?
So I think I kind of thought about it a lot because I heard a lot, especially in like school, like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And photography probably isn't going to pay you as much.
I bet you get that all the time, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, I mean, really, it just depends the people you know, because it could do you really good money. It just really depends on how hard you're like pushing on it.
Yeah.
But I think I wanted to stick to photojournalism, especially like National Geographic and all that. Getting to travel and pay to take photos, like that was kind of the dream.
Yeah.
But I went to college, actually. I went for one semester, and I was like, I know all of this, and I don't want to pay to do any of this. This is just too much for me. So I kind of just like dropped out of that semester, finished my associates in psychology because I was almost done, and I finished that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I've just been doing photos like on my own without any degree or any help, really.
Yeah. I think, when you're in a creative space like that, sometimes you can just teach yourself and learn by doing versus like trying to go to school, right? Like I always see like kids that go like learn about how to make a film or something. And I think you can just learn it by practicing and stuff like that. Are you a believer in that or what?
Yeah, for sure. I think it depends. Like I will say there's like pros and cons of going to school and then not going to school. Like for sure the pros is like having to network all the time and knowing so many different people.
Yeah.
Literally getting one-on-one because we'd have to do critiquing and stuff.
Okay.
So, like that also helped. But honestly, you can also find your own community outside of school and network that way. It just kind of depends the way that you want to do it, really.
Yeah, I would say photographers, I guess stereotypically, they're more of an introvert and they don't enjoy people. Is that like the case with you, or are you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm kind of like always behind the camera, so like being in front of the camera is really weird to me sometimes. Yeah. People will be like, "Here, let me take a photo of you," and I'm like, "What do I do?" And they're like, "You're
what
a
do I do with my hands?"
Yeah.
That's what I always like. I don't know what to do with my hands. You always see the guys, check up the dudes with
That's what I do. That's I'm like, they're like, "You're weird."
Yeah. No, I think something that I always think about, if you have a camera with you, you can pretty much get into anywhere.
Honestly,
right?
Yeah, you really can. Yeah.
Like any kind of concert or anything, right?
I mean, it depends. There are some cool artists that are like, yeah, why not? Like free photos on top of that, sure.
Yeah.
But there's some artists like SZA, actually. I went in and I had a little tiny digital camera that I can take in because it's not a interchangeable lens, which they say you can't have those. And I took it in, and her bodyguard immediately came up to me and was like, "You can't take that. You have to do it on your phone." And I was like, man. "Okay, cool."
Were you just like backstage, or how did you?
No, it was in the front. I was like in the front row and everything.
Okay, and he called you out from there.
Yeah, he like came up to me, and I was like, "Oh, dang, okay, I'm sorry."
And what's the big deal between that and versus your phone? Like, I don't really
know either. I don't know. Some artists are really particular about. I don't know. I guess because they pay their own photographer. I genuinely don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So it sounds like you also do concert photography, right? How did you get started in that?
I actually, since a lot of places are like, you can't bring in like a professional camera or anything like that, I was too broke to buy a really expensive, good camera that didn't have interchangeable lens.
Yeah.
So I just used my phone for all the concerts that I went to. I used my phone, and I actually got like the artist liking the photos. And I was like, okay, cool. Heck yeah, I can actually do this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first concert that you took pictures at, or what?
Yeah, at 21 Pilots. I went to them, and they noticed my photos several times, and I was like, okay, I want to do this.
Awesome.
Like, this is cool. Yeah.
And then that was just your phone, or the camera?
On my phone.
On the phone? Wow.
I know.
You must have some skills if you can. Every time I go to a concert, my videos and pictures are horrible.
That's what people say. I think the bigger part of it, though, and the thing that makes like a photographer their own style and everything, is the way they edit the photos.
True.
Like the colors you're adding, the filters that you're adding, specific, like, I don't know, just like motions of things that you're adding to it. It really adds to the creativity than just a photo.
Yeah. Was there anybody in your family that sort of had a creative background or was into photography or anything like that?
So both my parents are kind of creative in a way. They're kind of like craftsy. My dad, he loves to draw, and he's like really particular about like angles and looking at how things are.
That's cool.
And my mom's just more like arts and crafts, and she wanted to do photography, but like she's got to raise the kids, so she didn't really have that time for that.
Yeah. So when you were like, I want to be a photographer, they were like, no big deal, we'll support you.
Yeah, they were cool about it. They were always supportive of like whatever I wanted to change. 'Cause I changed my major so many times, and they were like, okay, cool. cool.
That's
Do what you want to do.
Yeah. So tell me about that, building the network, right? Everybody says like your network is your net worth, right? So
Right.
how do you go about, building that network?
Honestly, you gotta not be afraid of people and like rejection. Like that happens so
All
much
the time, right?
all the time. You're gonna
Yeah.
hear no so many times before you hear yes.
Yeah.
I kind of just had to deal with that, especially with like social anxiety and like just not really wanting to throw my work out there. But, like that's the only way you get seen is if you keep throwing your work in people's faces. Eventually,
Right.
they're like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always hear people saying that they don't enjoy social media, that they don't, they don't want to be active on social media. But if you don't, I think people maybe will forget about your work
They
and that you're
do.
out there, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like be out there, regardless. Do you struggle with that, like being active on social media?
I struggle so much, especially now that I also have the Herencia page because I did all the content creation on all that.
Oh, you were doing that?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
cool.
it's kind of like difficult to manage like so many accounts. And
Yeah.
I kind of took a hiatus on my photography account. I'm kind of like there to just promote like I'm gonna be at this event, but I haven't really done anything creatively in a while. Just kind of
Okay.
like taking a break because the last year it was like
It's
a
been
lot.
crazy. Yeah. I like now that you bring up the Herencia page, I like the way that it was curated and it had like a nice, like cohesive voice to it, right?
Yeah,
like you could
thank
tell the
you.
branding and everything. So were you like real thoughtful when you were doing that to make sure that it had like a consistent voice or what?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't really want something that was really like sporadic and random. Like I wanted there to be a consistency through it all.
Yeah.
Show like one type of theme, aesthetic and stuff like that. So I for sure tried to do that. I would send it to Jose and Natalie and see if they had any input, but they'd be like, no, dude, this is badass.
Yeah.
Do it. Just send it. Do it. And I'd be like, okay, cool.
That's cool because I think even the stuff that you were sharing on the page sort of like fit the vibe and the everything, right? So
Yeah.
I liked it. Now that Herencia is over, we can kind of talk about, download of like
Right.
everything. What was your experience? It was like the first time you guys did it, right?
Yeah, and it was so many artists. Like we had to keep track of everyone, making sure like we had everybody's artwork, everybody's bio on top
Yeah.
of that. That was hard. Just sending all the emails out and consistently trying to keep track of everything. It was a lot, but it was really rewarding at the end, especially like seeing everybody be like, I have not been to an art show like this. Like this is really cool.
Were you stressed out?
A little bit, yeah, for sure. Just trying to make sure it looked exactly how we wanted it to look. Trying to get all the things put together. But thankfully, Jose and Natalie, like, they're pretty cool. They're also took part of all the pieces of it that made it put together.
Yeah, I saw Jose there when I rolled by. Shout out to Jose, and he was stressing out. Like
He
he
was.
was trying to get like all the tags
little
on
tags.
the
I was
pictures
just
and
sitting
everything.
there like, it's okay,
Yeah.
Jose, I got you.
Yeah, he was stressing out. He was like
Yeah.
wanting everything to be perfect.
For sure,
But,
yeah.
I think there's always room for improvement, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you have to give yourself a break saying, hey, this is our
Exactly.
first time doing it. Nobody's done this,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly.
yeah.
I think I've kind of done a lot of like I've been in really stressful situations in that sense. So I kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, it's cool. Like we'll just learn from the next one for sure.
Cool. What would
Yeah.
you say are some of the key takeaways from that? Maybe some pros and maybe some lessons learned that you want to improve for the next one, right?
For sure, like I would love to have the Herencia Day like just our day,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
way people aren't confused and like, is this like part of it? Or y'all like
Yeah, because
joining with it?
we're talking a little bit. So there was
Yeah.
like a skate sort of
Yeah,
like
skate the
celebration,
plaza,
right?
yeah.
And then there was also like some metal bands and mosh
Yeah.
pits and like that was
Two
like
different
literally
cultures.
like maybe like 10, 20 steps from Herencia.
It was,
You
yeah.
had to walk through the skateboarders,
Yeah.
the metal bands, and then it was like a
Exactly.
different vibe altogether.
And it was so funny to see like some of the Latina grandmas like walking through like, whoa, what's
Yeah.
going on over there? Because it's just like different culture completely. For sure that. I think a lot of the pros were like the artists we chose. I think we chose really good artists. They all did amazing work for sure.
Yeah, people really like the lowriders too, right?
Yeah, the lowriders for
Yeah.
sure was really cool. I loved it a lot. I think next year we probably want to either do a bigger location just so we can have more lowriders, let them cruise around and stuff, just so people could see more of it and not just them displayed as well.
Yeah. What was the idea behind doing that? Was just like a place to showcase it? Like what was the idea for doing that?
So for the lowriders, I think it's all art as well. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people who spend tons of money on just making this car look exactly
It's
how
a
they
lifestyle,
want it to.
right? They
For
always say it's a
sure,
lifestyle, right?
I would see my uncles like literally painting their cars outside, and I'd be like, dang, like that's a lot of work. It
Yeah.
for sure is like art in itself.
Yeah. Did you have some of your photography there at the show?
I had a couple pieces up there, and I sold one of them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
What does that feel like? Do you remember the first time you sold one of your photographs? What is that like?
It was surreal. I was like, you want to buy my work? Like,
that's awesome.
All right. Cool.
And how do you put a price on it, right?
It's so hard. It's so hard. Sometimes I'm kind of like, I don't want to overprice it because I don't want people to look at it and be like, dang, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But then I see other people who sell one single photo for like $5K, and I'm like, I mean, I got to lift up my price a little bit then in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they always say to never meet your idols, you know. So have you ever been at a concert, maybe taking some photographs, and you met somebody that you were super excited to meet, and maybe they were a jerk or anything like that?
I would say, and this is SZA again, I'm like such a fan. I hate it.
Yeah.
She wasn't a jerk. It wasn't her. It was like the situation surrounding her, I guess. So I had taken the photos, and like her bodyguard came up to me and like was like, no, take your win on your phone. And it was cool. I uploaded them, and I was just looking down like the SZA Dallas show or whatever, like the hashtag. And I saw my photo, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't share that one on there. Yeah, and I saw that it was her hairstylist actually that had like shared it. And I was like, that's cool. I love when people share it. And I was just like, oh, I would love some credits though, at least, you know, so people know that it's me and can hit me up about my work. And he made like a really big deal about it. And SZA liked the post and everything. So I was like, okay. And like we reached him out to him, and he was just like, well, it's SZA's birthday. She don't care about this right now. And I was like, man. Oh my God.
My bad.
And I thought she hated me for so long. I was like, she hates me. I ruined her birthday. And then I bought a pair of her shoes, actually. She had a collab with Crocs. And I bought some, and I shared it on my page. And she actually shared it and everything, and like, I commented, and I was like, okay, so we don't.
So
have
you guys
beef.
are basically like BFFs. That's what I'm hearing.
I was like, all right, we don't got beef, thank God.
That's cool. Yeah. What type of concerts do you go to? Concerts that you enjoy the music, or is it sometimes you just go to concerts just to take, you know, the footage?
I think for the most part, it's like music that I really, really like. Okay. I think for the most part, everything I've seen has been everybody I like, except for like music festivals, which I do like going to those because then I meet artists that I end up really liking. But yeah, I think it's easier to photograph people that you really like because it's just like, I don't know, it's just like a lot easier to get into that creative mode for sure. Yeah.
What's been your favorite concert?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I've been to so many concerts.
Maybe top three, maybe.
Top three, I'm gonna for sure say, so 21 Pilots is its own like genre for sure. I love like, I don't know, there's two people and they make it look like just like so big. Like they take up the whole stage. They sound
like a whole thing.
Yeah, right? It's wild. I think they're really good in like their stage presence and all that. I'll probably say also, I saw Clairo as well. She was really good. I like her vibe. Yeah, she was really nice. And probably the third one will be probably SZA.
Yeah.
Even though that like little hiccup, but other than that, she was really good. She was actually really nice. She like showed up like 30 minutes late, but she stayed like an hour later and was signing stuff. Okay. Like it was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. So I think, you know, you mentioned that you do, you know, portraits and then more of the artsy side, right? So how do you sort of like stay creative? They always say don't make what you love your job because then you're going to hate it, right? So how do you stay creative?
Yeah, and that's like one thing I struggled with was making it my job and then just being like, dang, this is just like any other job. This is exhausting. And so the way I stay creative is I kind of just like either I'll travel somewhere or if I can't travel, I'll throw myself into a random neighborhood and just like walk around.
Okay.
And I'll just like see just any little bits of thing that inspire me and just like take photos of it, like the way the lighting hits a certain house for some reason or cars in the middle of the road that just look really nice. I don't know. I just like to throw myself in random environments and like get inspiration from that. I love movies and music and just like other artists, going to art museums for sure, and just like seeing things.
Cool.
Yeah.
You always travel or do you always carry your camera with you every day or what?
For the most part, if I don't have like my little digital camera, I'll take my phone and always like taking pictures through that.
Okay.
But I need to travel. Like I gotta get out of Oklahoma City. Or I'm driving myself crazy here.
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
So I just came back from Austin. That's the second time I've been there. That was fun. I think
for the music festival.
The music festival, yeah.
Okay.
The next place I definitely want to visit is Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been up to Seattle, and I was like, I love it here. So now I want to go down one state and just like see what that vibe is like.
Yeah. What was Seattle like? It's like basically like the grunge capital, a bunch of music,
it was
right?
Dope.
What was it like?
It was so cool.
Yeah.
it's so crazy to go to a place and see how the people all have one vibe, you know? Like they all kind of dress similar.
It's like all flannel,
Literally
coffee.
flannels, the Starbucks.
A beanie.
Yes. And I was like, these are my people. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. I was surprised by the rain. Not like that it rained a lot, but like how different it felt. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that if you had an umbrella there, they would know that you're a tourist
Oh,
because
really?
they don't ever have them. They're
Okay.
just so used to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool.
Did you go to the gum wall?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Is it cool or is it like, okay, this is kind of nasty?
I mean, it's kind of cool, you know, but it's like nasty at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's just a wall full of gum, but it's like the art that's near there too is really, really cool. Like they really prioritize art, like street art for some reason in a really cool way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You're probably too young, so you probably didn't, but did you visit any of the Nirvana?
I did,
You did?
actually. I went to the Museum of Pop Culture or something like that, and they had like a whole room specifically for Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. They had Kurt Cobain's like jackets and notes, and I don't know, it was like really cool.
Cool. You listen to their stuff? Or
I
not?
listened to a few of their stuff. Yeah, I
Okay.
think like their popular songs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what else is on your list to travel? Like,
I definitely want to travel out of the country. Like I've been out of the country, but I want to like fly out, like Europe for sure, like Rome and see the architecture.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
definitely a place. Yeah.
yeah. Do you like taking sort of architectural pictures as well? Or
Yeah. Because like in Oklahoma City, you kind of get bored of things and you kind of just go downtown. That's what I used to do for sure. I'd go downtown. I hit up my friends and be like, y'all want to like walk downtown and just see what we find? I just take pictures of the buildings and random things. I'll go down there and people are like, how do you know every single street down here? And I'm like, dude, I live down here. I used to walk here every single day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My understanding is also you take inspiration from horror movies.
I do.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, tell me about that. Maybe mention some of your favorites. And, you know.
I just recently rewatched It, the new one. And
Okay.
I don't know, the cinematography behind that is so good. I love Jordan Peele's movies. I think just like, I don't know, the thrillers and the mind-blowing ones are really crazy. Any A24 films are really good, like Hereditary, Midsommar.
Yeah.
Those that make you think for days and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my, what did I just watch?
Yeah. And I think with horror movies too, if you're a photographer, you kind of geek out about the angles.
Exactly.
And like, you know, all the tension of something's coming and you don't know what it is,
Yeah,
right?
people are like, how do you like to watch these all the time?
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm not thinking about like the horror aspect.
You're
I'm
appreciating
like,
the artwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, did y'all see that angle? Did y'all see that filter they
Yeah.
added? That's dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Was there ever a time that you were like second guessing, like, you know, maybe this photography stuff, maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe I need to, you know, go back to school or anything like that.
For sure. I mean, I think I have little periods where I'm like, should I just go back to school? But I think for the most part, it's just like something that's like in me. Like I just cannot help but create.
Yeah.
I think when I get creative blocks for sure, I'm like, dang, is this something I want to keep doing? Like, can I even afford to keep doing this, you know?
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's
I mean, we were
very
talking about that
expensive.
you like to shoot film too,
Oh my
right?
God, yeah.
That's like how much to develop a role, basically.
It depends. So one roll can cost, I mean, depending if you buy a cheap roll, it could be from like 10 to like maybe, because film prices went up, maybe to like $20-ish.
Jeez.
And then to get it developed, it'll be like, and that's if you're like getting the type of scan size and stuff, it could be another $20-ish. So you're probably spending like $40+ like a roll.
Man, so you have to make sure everything in there is a banger,
Everything,
right? Like don't waste any film,
And
right?
I've definitely gone through the pain of my film getting broken inside or opening it and it's not fully all the way rolled in. It's like, yeah, it's painful.
What do you enjoy most, the digital or the film?
It depends. If I'm like trying to take my time and be intentional about things, like really go back and like get out of a creative like struggle, I do like to do film, just like take my time and slow down.
Yeah.
But if I'm getting paid to do something, I'm not going to take my film. Like, it's just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot digital.
Yeah, I've never shot film, but I imagine you have to make sure you nail down your exposure and everything because like digital, you can kind of adjust, but film, you're kind of locked in, right?
You really are. You take your shot and you don't know. And I always will like take a shot and I'll be like, all right, we'll see what happens.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. It's always a surprise when you get it back, like how it turned out.
And like for me, I kind of take a long time like with my film because I'm like, I don't want to shoot all this in one day. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll take like a whole month and I'll be like, dang, I forgot I even took that. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the different films, they also have like a different like color,
like ISO
right?
and colors. Yeah, for sure.
What do you like shooting with? Like what brand do you like shooting with?
Lately, I've been shooting on Cinestill. I just like, I don't know, their colors are really nice. And also that you can shoot in dark lighting, which is something that's really hard for film.
Okay.
Yeah. So
cool.
I typically shoot like their 800T for the most part.
Is it like more of a modern look or does it get sort of like a retro type of feel to the pictures?
It kind of depends on the lighting that you're shooting. I think it can kind of give you both. They have, I think, what is it? I don't remember the ISO on it, but it's like a smaller one for daytime for sure. And that'll be like a more normal type of look. And then the Cinestill, I think, gives you more of like or 800T gives you more of like a retro type of look to it.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. You were telling me that you're also into like painting and stuff like that, but you don't want to do it like as an actual career, right?
Definitely
Why not?
I don't know. It's just like something that I kind of just do for fun. It's not anything that I do professionally. I don't know. It's definitely not my expertise. It's just something that I just do for creative purposes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are your goals then? If you're going to do photography, concerts, travel, like what are your goals basically?
I think I'm still kind of trying to figure that out for the most part. I think I would really like one of my goals right now is to get on tour with anyone, anything, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I would just love to tour with any band or artist for sure and just kind of like shoot for them for the most part. I think that's for sure like one of my bucket list things that I'm trying to cross off.
Yeah, because I think most bands, they usually have a photographer that travels with them throughout the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and I would love to do that. That like, I don't know, something about concert photography is just like, I don't know, definitely something that I love to do for sure.
And then you would get all the behind the scenes, right? So in the bus or just like backstage and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. When I went to Norman Music Fest, I got like the upstage type of stuff. And I was like, dang, this is really cool. Like I loved it. Yeah, it was really nice.
But I think it's going to be super important that you vibe with the artist.
For sure, yeah.
Because imagine if they're a jerk and, you know, hard to work with and
like
you're trying to get a picture.
Boss,
right?
It's just like, this is hard.
Yeah. You know, pie in the sky, who would you want to tour with?
We're just throwing it out there. Oh my God. Honestly, I'd do Bad Bunny.
Yeah?
I love his setup. His setup is really, really cool. Like his music is nice. He seems like a cool guy. I don't know him personally, but
sometimes it seems like he gets an attitude. If he's like, if he's not feeling it, he's like throwing cell phones and like, don't take pictures.
Honestly,
right?
I
Like,
kind of vibe with somebody who knows what they want because it like gives me a clear direction of like what they want me to shoot. You know what I mean? Then rather than somebody being like, I don't know, just do your own thing. And I'm like, all right, I guess.
Cool. Have you shot any like Latin concerts or anything in Spanish or what?
Yeah, I actually shot for my friend Linka. I've shot a few of her shows for sure.
Cool.
She's really good. I love her music too.
Awesome. Do you think that there's a different vibe when you're, you know, doing Spanish versus English? Do you sort of capture like different? Do you feel like you're doing stuff different or what?
Yeah, kind of. I think for the most part, I don't know. I think the crowd is completely different too.
True.
Like they're all like dancing and just like vibing to it. I've been to other concerts where they're just kind of like standing there and I'm like, what is going on? Y'all didn't pay all this money to like stand here. That's wild. Yeah, for sure. I think there's more, I don't know. There's just more hype for like Latin music for sure.
Cool. I always ask everybody here, if I pull up your playlist, who am I going to find on your playlist?
Right now, Drake's new album.
Yeah? Did you like it?
I did like it.
It's getting a lot of mixed reviews.
I mean,
what was your favorite track?
I don't know. I kind of really like that one with his son right now. I don't know. I like the switch up of it. It's really cool. I really like it.
Everybody's like, I guess, you know, that 8 a.m. track came out and they thought that they were going to get sort of the rap Drake, right?
Yeah.
That's what people were thinking.
But you know what? I kind of like the R&B Drake, the singing Drake in your feels Drake.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I like this.
Cool. So we got Drake. Who else is on the rotation?
Right now, who else do I have? I have a couple of Bad Bunny's new songs. He just released one, I think.
Yep.
His song's pretty cool. I also have Cigarettes After Sex. I just went to go see them at ACL. Yeah,
awesome.
They're really good.
Did you like the Drake and Bad Bunny collab?
I did. I thought that was good.
You liked
I was
it?
like, okay.
The only thing that I didn't think was cool was like the Drake fake Spanish verse or whatever. Like, come on, like you could do a song with somebody that's you know, going to be in Spanish, and you don't have to like also pretend to know Spanish.
I know. I'm just kind of like, all right. I kind of vibe with it though. Like, at least I don't know. He's
Yeah.
kind of trying, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
He's trying to get another group of people for sure.
Yeah. Who else?
Who else do I have on here? I think I also may have like some Kalani on there.
Okay.
I like all types of music. Like the 1975 might be on there.
Okay.
A couple of Taylor Swift songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. When you sort of, go out to do street photography and stuff like that, do you listen to music when you're out there or what?
I sometimes will. I'm a little like anxious because I'm just like, Oklahoma City is not like pedestrian friendly at all. So if I do, I'll like pop one headphone in, but I won't like fully dive into it.
Okay.
I think the part that I do put my headphones on and listen to music will be like when I'm editing something. Sometimes I'll get like songs stuck in my head and I'll kind of just like edit that in the same mood from the song or the feelings that I get of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time that you were paid to, cover an event or something like that, and maybe you lost the card or, maybe you forgot something and it didn't turn out? That would be my biggest worry. Like if I mess up the card or format it accidentally or something like that,
That actually happened to me like early when I first started photography. Like one of my SD cards crashed when I was doing a senior photo shoot, but thankfully it was like one of my friends. So she was like, it's okay, it's cool. But because I was like sitting there, I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. It just died on me.
Yeah.
I for sure had it where I show up and like, all right, turn on my camera, and it's like no SD card, and I'm like, oh my god. So now I have a little checklist to make sure I do not do that.
Cool, but never no lost footage or anything like that.
Thankfully not. Yeah, definitely one of my like nightmares. It's something that I'll like dream about and be like, I cannot get the photo. Yeah.
Are you good about cataloging everything and archiving everything?
Absolutely
that's
not.
probably another struggle, right?
Absolutely not. It's all thrown in there. I kind of just archive things like after years, you know what I mean? So I'm like, they're not ever going to need this again, or I don't really
What if they
need
hit you up and they're like, hey, you remember that one summer, this one, and then you have to find it? How are you going to do it?
Like, this is why it's in my contract. I have so long that I'm going to keep it. And other than that, like after that, that's yours.
Yeah, because you're going to have to stack up on hard drives to archive everything, right?
For the most part, I use like Google Drive. Like I'll just drop everything into Google Photos or Google Drive, and that keeps a lot of my stuff too.
Yeah. What about the film? How do you store that?
That's also like on my Google Drive. I have like a separate folder specifically for film. I think the cool part of a lot of places is if they scan it for you, they already either put it in a flash drive or they'll email it to you. So it's just easy for you to pull it in there.
Okay. So they're not just handing over like the negatives back to you.
They do sometimes. Like if you tell them I don't want the scans, then I have a scanner, but I don't know. It just depends. Like if I'm feeling lazy and I just want the shots like immediately, I'll do that. But if I'm down to do the entire process of it, I'll like slow down and throw them in the scanner and do it myself. Yeah.
Cool. What's been maybe the biggest struggle of being a photographer? Maybe some of those struggles that people don't know about, right?
Yeah, I actually had this conversation recently. Was like, people taking photos and paying me money and then throwing their own filters on it. And I'm like, why'd you do that? Like, why would you do that?
And then they tag you.
I'm like, that's not my work. Untag me. Don't do that. That's so strange to me. Paying me hundreds of dollars and then being like, I'm going to throw this on there. Like, just ask me and I'll probably change it for you.
And it's just like some built-in like IG filter or something.
Like, oh my God, why would you do that? But for the most part, everybody's pretty cool about it. I think now that I've been kind of in the photography game for so long, it's mostly people who are like serious and like really want to like spend money on my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
At the beginning of it, it was like definitely a lot of people who are very like nitpicky about things. And I'm like, guys, y'all see my page. Y'all know I don't do that. That doesn't make sense.
But never sort of somebody just asking you to come and cover for exposure or like to do stuff on the free,
I think I've definitely had that. And sometimes I don't mind it. Like if it's an event that I've never done, I'm like, I'm down to do it for the one time. But for the most part, I think a lot of people are pretty respectful of the process and are kind of like, how much is it, Yeah. Yeah.
What about working with other photographers? Is that pretty easy to do? I don't know what
I kind of vibe with it. I like it because it's like you get a whole different perspective. Like people, and that's the thing is that some people will look at photos and be like, I could take that. And I'm like, okay, then do it.
Right. Or you always get like, you must have a real good camera.
Yeah. Oh
right.
My
it's
God.
not about the talent.
I know.
Right.
I'm like, I can give you the camera and you're not going to know what to do with it. Yeah. I think I really like working with other photographers and seeing like what methods they use. Like for myself, I like to slow down my shutter speed a lot and just get like movement. I do a lot of those type of shots. it's just like seeing other people's creative process for sure. I think it's really cool to see it.
Yeah, I've seen now, I guess the trendy thing to do is whenever you make a post is to have sort of like a carousel and then have some of those that are like out of focus and stuff like that. What's up with that? Tell me like what, you know, is it just a vibe or what?
I think it is. I think a lot of people are trying not to take photos that are very like, I don't know, where you get the entire image and subject. It's not, it's more of like the creative part of it now. I think people are getting really creative with all of it. And I don't know. I really like it though. I like doing like out of focus shots and just, I don't know. I just think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I think even like some of the big influencers, that's kind of what all they post now is like stuff that's like movement or shaky, right?
Yeah. I just think it's like the imperfections that make it look really cool and creative because like no two shots are going to look the same when you do that, you know?
I see. So how do you balance that, right? If you're a photographer, you want to be out of focus, but still capture something that's worth posting. Yeah. Like, what do you do with the camera to get it out of focus, but still like come out with something that's good to post?
Yeah. You know? So it depends. There's just like a couple ways that you could do that. Either you can do it where you lower your aperture and then you just move the focus and just put things out of focus specifically that you want and focus things that you do want. And then the other thing is like slowing down your shutter speed and just kind of getting movements of it.
I see.
I'll do a few shots of those, and if I like look down at my camera, that's a good thing about digital. I'll look at it and be like, okay, I've got these, I can work with these, and then I'll go back to normal shooting.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I definitely noticed that trend, and I think also the filters always date your pictures, right? So you can always tell like, oh, this was like early IG days based on the filters and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you avoid your work looking dated? Right. Like down the road, like 10 years, 5 years, do you ever like look back at your stuff and you're like, maybe I'm not as happy now or no?
I mean, kind of not really. I kind of just know that like the more I do it, the more I'm going to grow in different spots. You know, I'm just going to learn new styles for some different things. Sometimes I'll like grow out of things and like not do it anymore. I'll look at even like colors that I've used and I'm like, I would not use that anymore. I don't know. I kind of been just cool with like going with the process of all of it and just going with the flow of whatever.
So you don't struggle with seeing the progression. You kind of enjoy seeing that you're getting better over the years.
Yeah, I struggled with that for sure early on. Just kind of like, why doesn't my photos look like how I want it to look? Like it's not looking like that. But I read somewhere that artists who see their work and don't like it is because they're looking at what their work could potentially look like and not appreciating where it's at right now.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like part of the process of growing as an artist. So I'm kind of just cool with like, all right, I don't like it right now, but I know in like 5 or a year for sure, I'm just going to be like, I love where I'm at right now. And I'm like doing better than I was a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. I've definitely experienced that from my DJ stuff where I'll just go and like delete old mixes or even on my YouTube channel. I've gone through like just deleted everything and started over. Yeah. I don't know, I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the beginning I was all about like perfectionism and just like keeping everything cohesive. And now I'm kind of like, I don't know. That was part of like my little artist growing, you know, my artist growth. I'm kind of cool with letting people see where I was and seeing people where I'm at. 'Cause it's like you show your own growth in that way.
True.
Yeah.
My understanding is you're also in some publications.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How did that come about?
I got into a period of like doing like fashion editorial type stuff. I just really liked, I don't know, the artsy part of it. I got in a couple publications for that. It was like Mob Journal and like Maverick and like a couple other magazines.
Awesome.
It was pretty cool though.
How cool was that to see your work like printed on a magazine?
It
right?
was
That's
wild.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. I like couldn't even believe it. I was like, dang. And then my name's on it and everything. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Yeah.
Cool. You mentioned fashion. That might be a cool element for the next Herencia. Maybe have a fashion show or something. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we want to like, and Natalie and I have been like really talking about it now, like way early on. We had like a lunch the other day. We're trying to get like all the things done now rather than later like we did this year, just so we can get all of it, because we definitely want to have like performances that like the next time around. A fashion show would be cool. That'd like an all-led like Latino fashion show. Yeah,
you know, we were talking that you haven't really done a bunch of video. I don't know if you've thought about doing other mediums as well.
Yeah, for sure. I've thought about like really diving in maybe into like painting, but not in the painting where it's like, I don't know, Michelangelo or Picasso, nothing like that, but more like a mixed media type thing, like adding some of my photography and like somehow doing like some patterns or just something that I really like. I've also thought about like going into like clothing and like doing my own clothing stuff. And I think that's kind of where we dived into like at Herencia. I was like, I want some merch there. Like I want to have a Dickie shirt. Like I think it'd be cool because like Dickies are really cool and like really part of the Latino culture that I've like been around for sure.
That's cool. Did you ever get any rejections or any like people not believing in your photography along the way?
For sure, all the time.
All the time.
All the
Still?
time. Yeah. Like I tell people, they're like, so like, what's your one piece of advice you'd give to people? And I'm just like, you gotta keep doing it. Persistency is key. You gotta keep doing it. I've heard no, actually. I went to Plaza, to a store there, and I was like, can I have some of my photos there? And they're like, sorry, unfortunately, we're not gonna have it. It's like, okay, cool. And then I made a photo book that was like 5 years worth of film, and I like worked for like a whole year on it. And I was like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. Like it is what it is. If they say no, it's cool. I'll still have it like for myself. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. We want to have like 10 of these. And I was like, perfect. That's awesome. There we go. Yeah.
That might be cool too. Like, you know, maybe doing a book or something like that, right? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought about doing like a tiny little book, like for Herencia specifically, and having like some sort of type of zine or something. Yeah, especially because like I already do photography. I've already done a book. Like I already have experience with all that. It's just going to be a lot of planning and time for sure.
Cool. Where do you say the fashion aspect comes into play? Like what inspires you or what draws you to go into fashion?
I don't know. I'm just like an aesthetics person. I like when things look nice. I kind of really like a street style, like the baggy style. I just like looking, and especially for like concerts, I love seeing how artists dress themselves for the shows and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's nice.
The one thing I don't get when people dress themselves is they always wear a jacket. Yeah. Right. Like I get it's cool. It's layers, right? But it's hot sometimes. And people are like in a full blown like leather jacket or something, right?
Yeah. Beauty is pain though. You got to do it.
You got to do it. Okay.
I love the layers though. Yeah. I mean, I won't do it. Like if it's the summertime, I'm not going to do it. But fall, winter, I'm all about the layers for sure.
Cool. So even you dressing yourself, you enjoy that and like putting stuff together, stuff like that.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like even looking at like New York Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week. Like, I've thought about going into New York Fashion Week specifically for it because I've seen that they actually let like a lot of photographers go and like shoot the stuff. So I was like, I might just shoot my shot there one day and just like go. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool. Do you like any particular brands of fashion or any designers or anything like that?
See, the type of thing that I'm like not about is like when we spend hundreds of dollars for an article of clothing, I'm always like the type of person that's like, I'm gonna go to the thrift store and I'm gonna make this look nice. Yeah. And every time people are like, where'd you get that from?
But that takes talent, right? That takes talent. Like not everybody can go to a thrift store and come out like with something.
And people are always like, how do you find this stuff? I'm like, y'all aren't looking because I find it all the time. Yeah.
So how do you go about putting a fit together? Is it like more about the colors, the palette, the vibe? Like, how do you go about it?
It's definitely a mixture of all of it. I mean, I'll check the weather because I'm not trying to die, you know? Because there are times where I've made the mistake or I like dressed too like cool weather and then I come outside and I'm like, I am freezing. Why'd I do that? Or it's too hot and I'm like, I can't take all these layers off now because it's just not going to look good. It just depends, honestly, like on the weather and how I feel. Because there are times where I won't even get dressed. I'll just do sweats and a t-shirt and I'll be like, I'm good to go.
What do you sort of think you enjoy? Like what era of fashion do you enjoy the most? Do you like sort of the throwback 80s, 90s? Or do you like more modern? Like what type of vibe do you like?
I kind of like a mixture of all of it, honestly. Like I really did like the 90s. I did a while ago like a denim on denim type thing. I know they're like, that's blasphemy. You can't do that. I'm like, but it kind of looks cool. I like the
It's coming back, I think, right?
I think it looks really cool. I really do like the minimalistic look too, like the monochromatic stuff. I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Cool. Do you like any kind of celebrity or anything if like for inspiration?
Yeah, I think Billie Eilish is really cool. I think her style is really nice. Kanye West's style is really cool too. Bad Bunny is really cool. Like his sunglasses, I like really love sunglasses too. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, I think all those, they probably have a curator, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's them doing it. Maybe not. Kanye, but I don't know about the rest.
He probably is. Yeah. He's in his own world for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I think, fashion and aesthetic kind of lends itself with photography, right? Yeah. So I could see where you were drawn to that. Anything else like along the way that you were drawn to that maybe you haven't explored yet?
Not I think I kind of like when I feel it and I like want to do something new, I kind of just do it. I'm just like, let's just try it. I'm not really scared of like failing. So I'm like, that's kind of part of the process of learning. I think I saw Seth Rogen's like pottery. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Like I kind of want to dive into that for sure. Yeah. I want to take a class and just see like how that goes.
That'll be cool. Yeah. And I think also traveling, you might figure out like you may be into other stuff too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, are you a big foodie at all or no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah? I love food. And that's the thing is that I'll like literally title everything art. Like food, I'm like, this is art. This is amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like what are some of your favorite spots here around here?
Around here, I really love going to Goro. That place is bomb. Yeah, I love the ramen there. I also really love Up Down. Their pizza is so good. Okay. Yeah.
I think for pizza, everybody says Halls, right?
They do, yeah.
Or Empire. I think those are the ones I hear the most.
But see, I like Up Down because it's the whole vibe that goes with it. It's like the arcade aspect. I really like the 80s, 90s type feel to it. I'm like, this is cool. Yeah.
Cool.
I think it definitely ties into the food.
Yeah. So those would be your top spots or what?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Any Mexican spots that you like at all?
I do. I like Los Desvelados. I get the birria tacos from there. Yeah.
Yeah, there for a while, everybody was going crazy with the birria tacos. Dude, it was like left and right.
And what's crazy is like when I went to Mexico like years ago, I was like, I never heard anybody talking about this. Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't blame them. It's good.
Cool. That's cool. Well, I think, traveling and photography, everything, you're going to be able to document everything, right? Do you have a blog or anything that you post all your stuff, or like where do you post your work where people can check it out?
So for the most part, it's just on my Instagram. I had a website, and like now since I'm on a hiatus, I'm like, I'm not really gonna like throw money at a place that I'm not really gonna be using for right now. I think definitely like I'm working on like the website for myself and the website for Herencia right now. Okay. So hopefully soon I'll be able to launch those. Hopefully next year for sure.
Cool. Do you enjoy doing that? Like sort of doing all the behind the scenes and stuff like that?
I do. Yeah. I like the process of curating things and making things look like, I don't know. I just really love the aesthetics of everything for sure.
Cool. Well, I'll give you space to plug in your socials, everything. Yeah. Are you everywhere? IG, TikTok, everywhere, or what?
So for the most part, it's just Instagram right now. It's just at sce.ecs, and that's like where I post like all my reels and photos.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. I always ask people to tell me something about themselves that most people don't know about. So I'm going to put you on the spot here to share something.
I guess I would say that, I guess people would know and guess by all the concerts I've like posted. I've definitely been to like over 30 concerts. Yeah. It's like expensive. It's an expensive like hobby, but it's like a fun one. And the wild part about it is that like I'm like one of those wild people. I'm like, are there people in line? And if they're there early, I'm like, I'm gonna get there earlier because I'm short. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be in the back, so I'll sit out there for a minute just to get the photos. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are getting the mark here that we're running out of time, but definitely anytime you want to come back, you want to talk Herencia, you want to talk about music, food, I'm always game. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the super talented artist and photographer, Sharik Cervantes on the Maverick Podcast. Keep grinding because in dreams we trust.
Thank you.